Vran Overkill Edition launched a little while ago on consoles and PC, and it's now made its way to the hybrid console called the Nintendo Switch. And funnily enough, even though the game was definitely not developed with sort of the Nintendo Switch in mind, this game becomes an essential purchase for the system and highlights just how good this game actually is. And if you've ever overlooked it or sort of slept on it, definitely don't do it now. In Vran, it's essentially, you could look at it and it seems like an isometric action role-play game similar to games like Torchlight or Diablo, but underneath there's so many different layers to it that calling it anything like that would be a bit of a disservice. You do have the sort of fantasy world filled with randomized loot, and everything's about numbers and sort of getting the best gear you can to sort of take out enemies, but there's so much more beyond that in each area. Each like, it's not just a big open area world. Each area is instanced, and each instance has 5 stars to obtain. Now, these stars could be something as simple as find this boss and kill them, or find so many secrets. But it can also throw a bunch of challenges at you, and that's where sort of the replay value of the game really comes in. So rather than just say, hey, go through the game, but even on a harder difficulty level, I let you sort of go, hey, I'm done playing the story right now. I'm going to go back to one of the previous areas and do one of these challenges. And the challenges, one of the cool things that they use is called hexes. And what the hexes do is it may make the enemies hit harder, it may give them more health, it may make them move faster. There's different ways to sort of change the challenge of it that then makes things a lot more fun. Some of the enemies may become champions or something like that. And it does a great job of, going to explore the same area again but in a different way. And the worlds themselves, the environments, are designed really well, and they're never too big. They do get bigger as you go along, but they never get too big to the extent that you kind of get lost in it, which means especially for Nintendo Switch, you can just jump into an area and play it for 10, 15, 20 minutes, do the challenges, maybe get some new cool loot, maybe level up, and you can put it down and keep going. And it's sort of weirdly, even though it was never designed with it in mind, it just fits the Nintendo Switch so well. On the Nintendo Switch, handheld mode is probably the best thing about it, is that you can sort of just take it with you, and that's what makes it stand out. And in handheld mode, it looks really good on that screen, and it performs pretty well. On dock though, it sort of falls down a little bit. It doesn't look nearly as crisp or clear. It sort of feels like it's been the game's been pulled back a bit in terms of assets and stuff like that. It can sort of perform a bit worse than in handheld mode, and even in handheld mode there are moments where things slow down when a lot of effects go on screen, but it still looks pretty good. But I think docked is not the best way to play this game. In terms of gameplay, it feels very good and fluid. You can have 2 weapons equipped at any one time, but you can only use one at a time, but you press the R button to switch between the two. It needs to give me any 2 weapons. They can be swords, hammers, lightning guns, shotguns, mortars. There's a ton of different options, and that alone sort of changes your strategy and approach. Like, if you know where you're going and you're going against a ton of small enemies, a hammer does the job great, a mortar does the job great. If you know there's a lot of tough enemies, you can keep your distance with the lightning gun or something like that, and it sort of changes how you play. But each weapon that you have has a number of distinct abilities for that weapon, and they're on a timer, and some of them are pretty short timers, some are a little bit longer. But you also have 2 demon attacks, and these demon attacks use the overdrive meter. The overdrive meter accumulates from attacking enemies, and this demon powers is just like your weapons. They are randomly dropped with different stats attached to them, and they can be unequipped and equipped whatever way you want to suit your style. So it can be a healing aura if you don't want to use sort of potions or anything like that, or they can have a cloud, so if you get surrounded it can poison the enemies, slow them down, or you can sort of shoot waves ahead of you, or like I said, there's so many different possibilities and the variety in how you handle things from moment to moment can really keep things feeling fresh, just the same as the levels can feel fresh depending on the challenges. As you level up, you will gain obviously stat boosts, you'll get more health, more armor, attack harder, but you'll also get the chance to equip more destiny cards. Now, destiny cards are the stat buffs, the resistances, and they're presented as cards, and you can only each one has a numbered value to it, which are their points, which the more effective they are, the higher point value they are. And you can only have so many points at a time, but it almost works like a deck system where you can sort of keep your, say, hey, I want to go in and hit hard, you keep your damages, you keep your sort of maybe your armor so you can just tank it, and it almost becomes its own little deck building system. It's not exactly possible to sort of store a few cards together and keep them as a deck and sort of separate them that way. It'd be kind of cool if you could, but you can actually use this as a deck building system in a weird way, and it works surprisingly well. And just like the weapons, just like the demon powers, it adds so much variety to the game you play. There are no classes to this game, there's no restrictions. You're just free to make Victor Vran the character you want them to be, and it's just one of those games that offers so much variety, offers so much choice and freedom, that I found so hard to put down. Everything moves so quick, you can dodge and you can jump, it's just so fluid, so fast, so fun. And honestly, to me, it's one of the best 5 games, the top 5 games I've played on Nintendo Switch so far, and I've played well above 100. But Victor Vran, I enjoyed it on consoles. I played it on consoles, I played it on PC, but it feels at home on Nintendo Switch, and I cannot recommend this game enough. This is one of my favorite games I've ever played on Nintendo Switch, and it's just, I can only tell people to go and buy this game. If they're watching this video, if you've got any inkling of interest in this game and you have a Nintendo Switch, pick it up. It is 100% worth your time and money, and then some.